It's the morning after Apple's event. The only thing that I didn't see mainly complained about a lot was the Apple Arcade. A lot of people are really looking forward to that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Some people are bashing the Apple Card. Okay, in case you've been living under a rock and you happen to miss out on yesterday's episode and yesterday's news, the Apple event broke. They unleashed like 4 or 5 different service product type things, all of which had pluses added onto it because, for some odd reason it makes it cooler. So, they introduced a titanium card on your Apple Card, iPhone wallet app thing. That kind of was interesting, but not too many people are interested about that. There are a couple caveats built into it. The Apple Arcade was announced, and that's actually kind of interesting. I'll have a link to yesterday's episode in the show notes if you guys wanted to tune into yesterday's episode. By the way, if you wanted to get the access to any of the articles that we have talked about today, let me move this over here really quick. Head on over to technewsgadget.net/93 for the show notes, or if you're listening on a mobile device right now and you're in your smartphone app, all you do is swipe up or left or right or however you get more information, and you should have the article links right there, and you can click to peruse or tap at your leisure to enjoy any articles that you want. So yesterday's episode was episode 92. They also talked about the Apple TV Plus, and that okay, there are some problems inherent with it. I liked how one news organization came out. The headline is Apple unveiled groundbreaking new yesterday's technology in yesterday's event. It's like, you guys are a little bit behind the times. Why would you want to, do all this cool stuff with the Apple TV Plus? I mean, your Apple's going, oh, we need to have original content and stuff. It's like, yeah, because Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and YouTube and everybody else already does that. Guys, I don't think we thought about this strategy, what's going on here, really. So that was the problem with that. And now, I finally get to the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to complain about yesterday. I get to complain about at length, because on TechCrunch, Josh Constein, he ripped right into Apple News Plus. So, I'll read some of the article, I'll sum up some of the points, I'll give my thoughts, and then you can read the rest of the article, and we'll move on to the next news. So, Apple doesn't care about news, it cares about reoccurring revenue. That's why publishers are crazy to jump into bed with Apple News Plus. They're rendering their own subscription options unnecessary in exchange for a sliver of what Apple pays out for the mere $10 a month it charges for unlimited reading. Think about it. The unfathomable platform risk here makes Facebook's exploitative instant articles program seem toothless in comparison. On Facebook, publishers became generic providers of dumb content for their social network's smart pipe that stole from the customer relationship. But at least publishers were giving away their free content. Apple News Plus threatens to open a massive hole in news site paywalls, allowing their best premium articles to escape. Publishers hope they'll get exposure to new audiences, but any potential new or existing direct subscriber to a publisher will no longer be willing to pay a healthy monthly fee to occasionally access what top content there is while supporting the rest of the newsroom. They'll just cherry pick what they want via News Plus, and Apple will shave off a few cents and flip it over to the publisher while owning all the data, customer relationship, and power. Well, why subscribe to that publisher? I already pay for Apple News Plus. Should be the question haunting journalists' nightmares. For readers, $10 per month, all-you-can-eat buffet from 300 plus publishers sounds like a juicy deal. Well, and it is. But it could accelerate the demise of some of those outlets, leaving society with fewer watchdogs and storytellers. If publishers agree to shake hands with the devil, the Dark Lord will just garner more followers, flip over a few pennies, laugh maniacally, and run off into the evening, making this ruinous offer that much more tempting, but they won't know it'll be running off maniacally laughing. There's so many horrifying aspects of Apple News Plus for publishers, it's best to just list each one and break them down. Number 1, no relationship with the reader. To succeed, publishers need attention, data, and revenue, and Apple News Plus gets in the way of all three. Readers visit Apple's app, not the outlet site that give it free reign to promote conference tickets, merch, research reports, and other moneymakers. Publishers don't get their Apple News Plus readers' email addresses for follow-up marketing, cookies for ad targeting and content personalization, or their credit card info to speed up future purchases. At the bottom of articles, Further, and this is annoying, Apple News Plus recommends posts by an outlet's competitors. Readers end up without a publisher's bookmark in their browser toolbar, app on their phone, or even easy access to them from News Plus's default tab. They won't see the outlet's curation that highlights its most important content or develop a connection with its home screen layout. They'll miss callouts to follow individual reporters and chances to interact with innovative new interactive formats. But perhaps worst of all, publishers will be thrown right back into the coliseum of attention. They'll need to debase their voice and amp up the sensationalism of how their headlines look, or risk their users straying an inch over to someone else, because it's literally a tap away and they tell you to go to somebody else at the end of the article anyways. It's literally clickbait 2.0 all over again. They'll have no control of how they're surfaced. Number 2, they're at the mercy of the algorithm. Which outlets earn money on Apple News Plus will be largely determined by what Apple decides to show in those first few curatorial slots on screen. At any time, Apple could decide it wants more visual photo-based content or less serious world news because it placates users even if they're less informed. It could suddenly preference shorter takes because they keep people from bouncing out of the app, or more generic shallow dives that won't scare off casual readers who don't seem to even care about that outlet anyways. What if Apple signs up a publisher's biggest competitor and sends them all the attention, decimating the first outlet's discovery while still exposing its top paywalled content for cheap access? And by cheap, I mean pennies. Remember when Facebook wanted to build the world's personalized newspaper and delivered tons of referral traffic, then abruptly decided to favor friends and family content while leaving publishers to starve? Well, now the outlets are giving Apple News Plus the same iron grip on their businesses. They might hire a ton of talent to give Apple what it wants, only for the strategy to change. The Wall Street Journal says it's hiring 50 staffers to make content specifically for Apple News Plus. Those sound like some of the most precarious jobs in the business right now. Now, remember when Facebook got the Wall Street Journal, Guardian, and more to build social reader apps and then one day just shut it off and then shut down the whole platform? Well, News Plus revenue will be a drop in the bucket of iPhone sales, and Apple could at any time decide it's not thirsty anymore and let News Plus rot. That and the eventual realization of platform risk and loss of relationship with the reader led the majority of Facebook's instant article launch partners like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Vox to drop the format entirely. Publishers would be wise to come to that same conclusion now before they drive any more eyeballs to News Plus. So, yeah, that along with the fact that, okay, so for the $9.99 a month that you'd be paying to have access to 300 outlets and articles and all that stuff, apparently Apple's taking a 50% cut. The remaining 50% gets divvied up to whoever happened to have the most eyeballs, clicks, taps, links, anything interested through that. But here's a realization. Apple News Plus really isn't built for news. The third and final point, at least in terms of the article that I'll be reading for you so far. If you want to read the rest of the article and share your thoughts, you can certainly do that. Let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube in the comments section what you think. Apparently, Apple acquired the magazine industry's self-distribution app Texture a year ago. Now it's trying to cram in traditional text-based news with minimal work to adapt the product. That means National Geographic and Sports Illustrated gets featured billing with animated magazine covers and ways to browse the latest issue. News outlets get demoted far below with no intuitive or productive way to skim between articles beyond swiping through a chronological stack. I only see Wall Street Journal's content below my magazines, a massive at-home feature from Architectural Digest, a random gadgets and gear section of magazine articles, another huge call out for the new issue of The Cut, plus 4 pieces inside of it, and one more giant look at Bloomberg's profile of Dow Chemical. That means those magazines are likely to absorb a ton of taps and engagement time before users even make it to the Wall Street Journal, which will only then score a few cents per reader.